live here, or we're doing a live recording anyway, here on the Ace Jordon Show, and I can't wait to introduce you to a special guest that I've got today. Before I do that, I just want to say he's one of the coolest guys out there. Met him on Twitter, saw him on YouTube. We're going to talk all about his show coming up. So here we have Caleb and the League of Tomorrow. What's up, Caleb? You good?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, Ace. I'm stoked about it.
No, honestly, I've been really looking forward to this as well. So, for everybody that doesn't know, Caleb, talk to me a little bit about your show, League of Tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's just like right now we do a lot of fantasy football, takes just about the players and stuff, and more of a fantasy show. But we like to twist it up sometimes and do like weird game shows. We've done like gross foods and stuff like that. So we like to spread the knowledge and have fun at the same time on the cast.
It seems to me like so is interaction a big part of your show?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just making people happy with what we do, and really just getting the comments and the feedback really help us, change our show or cater to that, because it's just awesome hearing the feedback, and that's a big part.
Caleb, where does all the Batman themed inspired stuff come from, man? Are you a fan, or what's the crack?
So, all right, let's see if you guys can see this in the background.
Yeah,
let's move this. So, we had this idea. I don't know if you guys can hear me still, but we had this idea of just kind of giving a Gotham background to our show. And having, after we made this Gotham background, we're like, why not play on this a little bit? So we created a guy called Tomorrow Man. And it's pretty much, like fantasy Batman. So that's kind of where that integrated. It's just fun. We like to have fun. So that's kind of where that came from.
I think that's a really cool idea. Obviously, everybody on YouTube is doing a podcast or doing a show. Obviously, there's a lot of people doing it. So I think you bringing a character to the screen is like a really cool idea, man. So you need to keep doing that. It seems like
I appreciate it.
Anyway. No,
yeah,
man,
part two's coming soon.
A huge fan. Where can we find you then, Caleb?
You can find me at The League of Tomorrow FF on YouTube, and on Twitter it's Caleb LOTFF.
Okay, that's really cool. Let's move on to the NFL. So first of all, who's your team, bro?
All right, so I got to call you out for one. My team is the Raiders, and I just saw your tweet about the Bengals making it to the championship. Oh, dang. I was like, I saw that, and what was it, 2% odds to make it to the championship?
Absolutely. Did you see that? That was something like a UK poll where they voted the Bengals have a 2% chance, and I thought, what? So, I mean, I knew you was a Raiders fan, but I was just giving you the opportunity to put it out there. So, shout out Raider Nation. Have a big following of Raider Nation live on Sundays, man. So, how long have you followed the Raiders for?
I mean, my entire life. I probably started watching football in 2004, right after, right when they started not doing so well. So it's awesome to actually finally have a chance to see a healthy car in the playoffs. We actually have a fighting chance. Last time we were there, since I've been a fan, we lost both our starting QB and our backup. So totally stoked about tomorrow.
Caleb, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Oh, see, so 25. Okay, see, oh my days, you make me feel so old at 34. So 25. Proper like almost millennial, right? Almost millennial. But no, my point being is, how did you feel when over here in the UK, if a soccer team was to move areas, it would be a big deal. So how did you feel about them moving states?
Honestly, it sucks because I used to be able to. I'm pretty close to Oakland. I could take the light rails and get there to the games, and it was super easy to go to the games. But you can't blame them getting mixed on the same field as the Oakland A's. Having a baseball turf on your field, dirt, it was ridiculous, and Oakland didn't want to fund them. So as much as it sucks, it's awesome to see them get this new stadium that's just awesome looking. Cool. And, it'll be an experience, at least, going down to Vegas to watch a game and actually making a weekend out of it.
So, again, obviously, you alluded to it there. obviously the NFL's big business, and it made obviously a lot of commercial sense for them to move to Vegas. But what's the feel of the fans like? Are the fans cool with it? Are the fans still down? Do a lot of fans from Oakland still travel, or is it a lot of? Do they get a lot of new blood in the stadium?
I feel like it just created more fans for Oakland. All the people down in Vegas. You do see the players like, oh, my team moved. I can switch teams now. But, a lot of people, a lot of faithful Raider fans, once you're a Raider fan, it's hard to switch, know? Right. So I haven't seen too much, but some people are like that. But overall, I think it's been good for the fan base.
It's funny you say there about... no, I think they enjoy. I think obviously it's a different culture. You saw me, I just alluded to it there with the t-shirt. I lived in Santa Barbara. I was playing soccer out there. Like in 2007, so I understand it's a totally different culture thing to what we have over here with the football, and that's the main reason I love the NFL. I think it's just a game it's just the best game in the world, and I just really appreciate you guys and the culture, man.
How did you, if you don't mind me asking you, how did you become, you're from UK, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm from England.
How did you get into football with the time being so different and the game so late?
Do you know what? I didn't even plan to get into me, but that just shows you your hosting skills there, brother. So nice work. But in 2007, I loved soccer, so I ended up basically playing soccer at junior college there. My grades wasn't good enough to go straight to college, so I had to go to junior college. But when I arrived at Santa Barbara, to be honest, it just blew me away. Obviously, the level of college football. When I'm talking about proper NFL now football. I went to a football game, and as soon as I saw the tight end get hit, I was just like, oh my God, is he alright? And I think that was just a huge culture shock in itself. It was, because obviously, how just soccer players just roll around and stuff, it really pisses me off. So then, obviously, just to see that, immediately I was just hooked. And then I'm a former coach, so my brain's very tactical. I love the athleticism of the game. So the NFL was just a perfect fit for me then. So about 15 years ago, I really got into it, mate. Obviously, as you know, when you go to college and stuff like that, it's a big deal. The area where you're from, you sort of you stick with that team. So the 49ers are sort of out there, so I had to sort of take them on, really. But you mentioned the Bengals. I'm just a huge Joe Burrow fan, so let's start talking about the Raiders versus the Bengals. So I really think you're in for a tough game, mate. Joe Burrow, I think, is going to be one of the faces of the NFL for, the next 10 or 15 years. Obviously, Derek Carr's a great QB. So how do you see the matchup going there? Talk about the game in depth and just give your take on how you think the game's going to go.
I mean, if you go back to when we played them, I believe, I want to say week 13 around there, they just destroyed us on the ground. Joe Burrow wasn't even a need of a factor. In order for the Raiders not to, let it to be a 32-13 blowout game, one, we've got to stop the run. Joe Mixon is one of the best rising backs in football right now. I mean, he's had an incredible year. So we really have to start by containing him and keeping, our defense has to keep them under control. The game could get out of hand very quick with how Joe Burrow's been playing. So when you pit up these two teams, we just cannot let that happen. Cannot let them, just run all over us. And with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I mean, two of the best young wide receivers out there, it's going to be a tough task to handle on our defense. Now, I completely understand why the Bengals are, 6.5-point favorites because of, last time I checked at least, because of, how they ended the season for one, and they're just a rising team with Joe Burrow. Looking elite. Now, on the other side of the ball, I do think that the Raiders can, they're spreading the ball around more. I feel like they can definitely put up some points against this Bengals defense, but you can't put your foot off the gas at any moment if you're the Raiders. You want to see them spread the ball in this game, and I really feel like this is going to be a very big offensive battle, in my opinion. It could be, a blowout is how I see it. Having Waller back for the Raiders, he's rested, pretty healthy offense right now compared to what they've been all season. And you have guys like Zay Jones, he's starting to come on his own. We still have Brian Edwards if we could get him the ball in space. Obviously third and Renfro, you can't forget about him. So I don't think both of our defenses can stop each other. It's just, I feel like it's a game of turnovers at some point. Like, that's going to be a huge factor in this.
I think everything you've said there, absolutely spot on. And I believe you me, Caleb, I wouldn't just agree with you for the sake of it. So you're predicting a high-scoring game then, obviously. I was gonna ask you in particular, how do you think your secondary will hold up if the Bengals get the running game going and they play with a little bit of balance? How do you think your secondary will hold up?
If they can get that running game going and open up that, I think it's game over. I mean,
okay.
If you open up, then we have to, we start stacking the box. Well, how are you going to stack the box with that receiving core?
Absolutely.
If that game will get out of hand if we can't start by stopping them up front. It's definitely, and our luckily since last time we played them, our defensive line has really stepped it up. You saw it last week against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. So if like you said, if that running game gets out of hand, the game's over, in my opinion.
I think you've managed to stake a good case for Vegas there, though, and I agree with you because absolutely, if their defensive front can get at Joe Burrow, and we all know their offensive line is pretty suspect, that might be a crucial key in the game. What do you think?
Yeah, yep. It starts with the line, and especially in this game with all the weapons out there.
Okay, so if I'm going to ask you to call the game with a score, obviously your heart, you want the Raiders to win. Does your head say that also?
Oh, absolutely not. But I'll keep lying to myself.
So the 6.5, if he was betting, would you take it?
No, I don't think it would come down. I don't think it's going to come down to, over a touchdown. I don't think that would be it. Just because, Carr's so good last quarter. He really picks it up, from the stuff he missed in the first three quarters. But he doesn't really, I don't think they'll let this game get out of hand. I expect this to be like a one-score game.
I think that's a great call, probably by a field goal. Again, the 6.5's tempting a lot of people, but you got to think, are they going to win it by a touchdown? Again, Caleb, great call. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I do think the Bengals are going to win, but I think the Raiders are going to put up a hell of a fight. I think credit to them because there's been a lot of drama off the field. Obviously, a lot of coaching problems with Gruden and stuff, and I just think the Raiders have done well to get it together on the field. And as you said, they might be coming good at the right time. Seems like they're getting healthy. So anyway, make sure everybody joins us for the playoff specials that I've got coming up on my show. Can't wait to get stuck into those, mate. Let's move on to our next game, which is New England versus Buffalo. So, what's your thoughts here before I get stuck in again? I'll let you go ahead, mate. You've done such a good job on the first game. What do you think about this?
So, with Patriots playing Buffalo, I definitely lean the edge towards Buffalo. Having a rookie QB is one thing. Bill Belichick can get over that. But then on top of that, you have to stop a very explosive offense like the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen, who can kind of... Who are, if they take out Stephon Diggs, is that really their main factor? They've actually been running the ball as of late a lot better. It almost doesn't seem like, if it's Devin Singletary, it just, they're pushing it on all aspects of the field. But the Buffalo Bills, they've had their off games, losing to Jacksonville. Will that be one? This be one? I'm not seeing it that way. As a division game, those are always tough. Those are to the core. But I think this game is more of if the Patriots defense can step it up, then they're going to have a chance. And Bill Belichick can scheme well, but I just can't see Mac Jones keeping up with Josh Allen. They haven't won games with him. I know he's looked great as a rookie, but that's a lot of coach calling. If you put Justin Fields in that same position, another rookie, I think he'd be doing well too. But Mac Jones can be stopped. We've seen it.
Caleb, I think again I had a big smile on my face there because we see that one pretty much the same way. I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago when New England totally ran the ball on Buffalo. I mean, I know the weather was bad, but it just showed if you make Buffalo one-dimensional and you take away that run game, they've got a huge problem. That 3-4 defense that the Patriots run is huge, and I think if Bill Belichick gets all of his pieces playing right, they've got that one's going to be a huge game.
Maybe it comes down to if Josh Allen takes Viagra before the game.
Do you know what? I saw that. Maybe that's how it's done. Do you know something? It might have to be done here. It's true. Maybe he does. What do you think? What do you think? Dude, maybe he does.
I think he's going to. I mean, with the way it happened the first game in the cold, he's probably seriously thinking, I got to do this.
I've got to do this, right? I'm hoping he just doesn't get a stiff neck or a stiff arm, and then we'll be a problem. So yeah, to be fair, let's hope he does take a Viagra, bro. But let's hope he gets it done. To be honest, you called that one again so well. Just not giving me a lot of room to manoeuvre or even challenge you on it because I see the game sort of the same way. If you was going to put a score on it again, if you're going to edge your bets and put your money on it, bro, what would you say? Who are you going to go with?
Well, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. I would see this more as, them winning by at least, 5 points, I'd say. I think they're going to pull it together after, Josh Allen experiencing that cold, is one thing, but now to go through it again, he's going to level up. He's going to play hard, I think, this game, and that's what it comes down to.
Okay, pretty cool. By the way, do you know everything you're saying here results-wise, I'm marking down, Caleb, because we're going to see how good these predictions are, brother.
All right.
So we're just going to have a little bit of fun there. Because at the moment, I think at the moment you're spot on. So before I move on to the Eagles and Tampa Bay game, mate, just tell me a little bit more about parts of your show that you'd want to highlight right now. Is there anything in particular that you'd want to speak to your audience about, or how you'd like to encourage more viewers?
Yeah, so we had a couple shows. I was kind of alluding to it earlier. One was my favorite shows to kind of do is, I like to give the knowledge, but I also like to have the fun shows. We do, and I'd suggest go checking these out because a lot of time, a lot of effort was put into these. They're called Fantasy Football Fear Factor. So it's like Fear Factor mixed with football. If you get the question wrong, I've had to eat a live worm on the podcast.
That sounds cool. That sounds cool. That sounds like a really good idea.
It's tons of fun, but it's tons of fun to do. Really entertaining to watch. It's just more of a fun show for that part. But those are kind of my favorite things to do. And we'll also throughout this season, I just started these 5-minute videos where each week I come out with 5 videos, 5 minutes each of 5 different players, just stating their dynasty value and, some possible trades you could get with them or, just like that. And where they are on our rankings. So it's definitely like doing that. Fun, quick shows, easy to watch. If you're into fantasy, definitely would check it out.
Okay, where do we check you out again, man? I need to know again.
The League of Tomorrow Fantasy Football Podcast. So it's the League of Tomorrow FF.
Now, if you're not selling this merch, why not?
We don't have a lot of viewers. I'll send you one.
Listen, I'll send one. Send me one. I'll definitely wear it on the show. And anyway,
awesome.
Caleb, you send me a shirt, I'll definitely wear it on the show. And listen, when you say not a lot of viewers, once your personality gets out there, it's going to blow up for you, brother. Don't concentrate on just following people for the sake of it. Just keep grinding, you'll get there. I know it's only a matter of time, man.
Yeah, okay, it's tons of fun either way. And the people who are, we have a good constant, small group of people, but it's awesome. They'll always message me about something I do, or if they think I'm off on something, they'll be like, how do you think this guy's so low in your rankings? I'm like, look, man. So it's cool. I love all the feedback we get on it.
where do you? I was just about to get to that. In terms of where you interact on social media, what do you use the most? Is it Twitter, Instagram, or where can fans find you?
As far as social media, it's Twitter. I've just started Twitter. Been slacking on the Instagram. It's new for me because, like, growing up, I'm one of the few people I didn't use social media for anything. No Facebook. Didn't really care for Instagram. But
I love that.
But yeah,
I love that.
it's just so getting into it. Like after starting this, is actually awesome. Meeting people like you on Twitter. It's like it's kind of cool to actually be a part of something now. And I didn't really have a reason to use Facebook and care for some random person talking about their daily.
No, yeah, whatever.
Crap.
No, I put that love heart up again because exactly the same. I mean, through personal circumstances, we won't get into that now. But I come off social media for a very long time, literally years. So it was only when I started. It was only when I started my show up 7-8 weeks ago. Imagine that. Like I literally went without, not because I couldn't afford one. It was by choice. I went without a smartphone for years, just to see how the world was again. Like how it took it back to the 90s, and I tell you what, Caleb, it was one of the best things I ever did. Because now getting back on it does, because now getting back on social media, it gives me a different aspect on life. You see, so
yeah,
it's different. Like who you follow on social media is very important. How you interact on social media is very important. I see a lot of people out there clocking up followers for the sake of a number, and I'm like, you've got 100,000 followers and one person likes your tweet. Why don't you concentrate on the interactions? So I would rather have 5 followers and 3 people interact with my tweets, brother. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm all about trying to use the internet, making the world a smaller place. Communicate with guys like yourself. And I mean, look, you know what I mean? Where are you in the States, by the way?
I'm California.
Oh, no way, California. So there you go, from California all the way to the Midlands here. Literally on a Twitter exchange now. How better was that than a like or an IFB?
Oh, sorry, what?
I was going to say, how better is it that we've actually like made something of that interaction rather than just a like or a follow back? I'm just sort of alluding to Twitter in general. How do you think that should be used, and what's your opinion on Twitter?
You know what? It's like the reason why I've started to actually really enjoy Twitter is because of people like you. Not just, hey, give me a follow. Oh, thanks. I'll give you a follow too, and then you're done with each other. It was like as soon as we met, we're like, let's make something. We're like, we didn't just do it for the follow. We're like, hey, I see, I kind of like your channel. Do you want to do a collab? And it is one of the coolest things. Growing in a small community like that.
Yeah, making social against social. Putting the social back in social media, as I like to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But it's true, right? Shout out,
100%.
Was it Sage Alvarez who hooked me and you up as well?
It was Sage Alvarez, actually. You are correct. So shout out to Sage.
That's what I mean. Shout out to Sage, exactly. Big up Sage. Obviously, we'll send him the clip as soon as this goes out there. But thank you to Sage as well, because that's another classic example where I literally just dropped in his mentions and it went from there. So, in terms of anybody watching this who's got a show and stuff like that, that's where I'd recommend you start growing, brother, because that's what I did. And then they end up coming in your chat in your show, and then that's the way to go about it. So, stay away from the numbers game, Caleb, and concentrate on your interactions, mate, and you'll get a much genuine fan base then, and that's what I'd recommend for you, mate.
I'd rather have 3 good followers like you're saying than 1,000 people who don't give a crap.
Trust me, your show will be a lot better that way. So again,
I appreciate it.
Right now, Caleb, again, great to speak to you and know about you, brother. So let's keep it rolling here. Let's talk about the next game that I've got lined up for you, man, because your opinions are so hot. But just to prove that I actually know something about football and I'm not just copying you, I'll take the first go on this one. And that's Eagles. Let's do that. Let's go Eagles versus Tampa Bay. So, of course, obviously Philadelphia to start with, a huge sports city, right? Got a very heavy fan base. The media is very fiery, shall we say. The media is quick to jump on Philadelphia sports teams, whether they're good or bad, right? So obviously there's a lot of pressure straight away on Nick Sirianni immediately. Obviously, it took the Eagles a long while to get going, right? But it seems like now they have a run game, like a genuine run game. I wish that Sanders... Yeah, it took him a while. I wish Sanders would get more carries.
He needs to.
He needs to. I don't know why Sanders doesn't get more carries. It's frustrating as fuck. Obviously, Boston Scott piles him with some touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is obviously getting the job done as well, mate, at times when he needs to. Devontae Smith, obviously a real threat as well out wide for them. So the Eagles got a pretty potent offense when they get it going. It's just all about the other side of the ball for me, bro. And obviously the facing the remaining, the defending champions, Tampa Bay. Obviously Vegas is going to be back in Tampa Bay here as heavy favourites, and it's hard to bet against them. What I will say is, it's a bad matchup, isn't it, for the Eagles and Tampa Bay, because obviously you can't run the ball against that defensive line. So I'm struggling to make a good case for the Eagles here. Obviously, if Tom Brady and the gang get off to a good start and take an early lead, it's going to be hard for Philly to get the run game going. So, thoughts here, Caleb. What do you think about that, first and foremost? And do you think if they struggle to get the run game going, they've got big problems?
It depends. They might struggle getting the running backs going, but Hurts will still slide out of the pocket and get his, Can't defend the pass and a mobile QB if, done correctly. I think the only fighting chance the Eagles really have is all these injuries building up for the Bucks. Most Super Bowl teams you see get relatively lucky on that healthy basis. Their team's relatively pretty healthy. I do think the Eagles can try to claw their way. But like you said, with that front, they're not going to get that running game going. So it's really going to be in Hurts' shoulder. And his first playoff game, he's hot, he's cold. He's, sometimes he looks incredible. Other times it's like, I could have thrown a better pass than that. And I should not be in the NFL. That's for sure. But the Eagles are just going to have a hard time. I don't know what the over-under in this game is, but it's probably +8 on the Bucs side. Or on the Eagles.
Around that side, I think that's, again, to be generous. I'd probably take that as well. I could do well. Even though it's a playoff game, do I think they're going to win by 2 scores? Maybe. Again, as you said, if it's all on Jalen Hurts' arm, it's going to be a problem. Give me a score, Caleb. What do you think, mate?
Let's say Bucks got to win by... I'll go Bucks win by 13.
Again, all noted down, because when we meet again, brother, I'm going to be, hopefully, when we meet again, I'm going to be giving you some stick or some credit for these picks. To be honest, I think you're bang on. Do you do any live shows yourself? Do you do any picks yourself before games?
Yeah, so we've done a couple live shows. I'm still kind of getting, back into this after we started up the show before the season started, and we had to take a break. Everyone did, and I was actually, in the mountains for a couple months working, so I couldn't do anything. So yeah, definitely getting more back into live shows. Be tuned for that. But we do have a producer, so I do like to give him his fun, or else he'll leave me.
Tell us more about it. What do you mean working in the mountains? That sounds cool as fuck, man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a prevailing job I got, and I was hooking up exploders to cannons for avalanche control.
Yo,
so these giant ass cannons would shoot off, and they shoot them to blow off the freaking snow off the mountain. It was emergency work.
Yo, that's cool. That's dope as fuck, man. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, watching the cannons go off was pretty crazy for the test.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool life experience. That's something to put on your Tinder bio.
I mean, I have a video actually, and I'm walking through clouds because we're like 11, 12,000 feet in elevation. So I'm just walking through clouds. It was the craziest experience.
Yo, that sounds dope, man. Okay, right. Well, let's move on. 49ers, shout out, let's go the Bay. What do you know in this one, man? What do you reckon? Because everyone's going to say I'm going to be talking with my heart. So give my viewers some head over heart here, brother. Honestly, talk
It's
to
hard
the
to do.
people, man. It's hard to do, so go on.
I had to do it earlier.
You had to do it earlier. Well, do you want to start or do you want me to go?
Go for it.
Go for
It's
it.
your
Well,
team, man.
honestly, I know, man. I mean, the 49ers, I think we've got a real good chance again. I think, is this a bad matchup for us, though? That's all I'm worried about. Our run game, if Dallas do anything, I wouldn't even say bad, I would say not so well. I think it's stopping the run. I think in isolation, if you look at their team in parts, yeah, I think they do things well, but I think stopping the run, that's maybe where we should be able to get to them. Obviously, we have about 40, 50 million different ways to run the ball. And if Deebo Samuel's not running it, he's throwing touchdown passes. So I think we might be able to cause them a few problems on defence. Obviously, with Jimmy G, obviously, that's going to start the game. My main concern is this, Caleb. If Lawrence, Parsons, and who else am I missing? Lawrence, Parsons, and somebody else off the defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. They have an amazing triple threat option. And if they manage to get to Jimmy G, then we're in for a real handful. So I think if the run game gets started well, we get the run game popping, and it's not on Jimmy G's shoulder, we might be able to cause Dallas some problems. However, if Mike McCarthy gets out of his own way and stops fucking up the game, but it's true though, right? Because he makes some awful calls. I think his man management decisions, as I like to call them, or situational football, the proper term for it, right? It's just dreadful, man. If they had a better coach, the Dallas Cowboys, I think this would be a more of a one-sided game, to be honest, Caleb. So let's say this is what I think it's going to come down to. What do you think about this for a take? Kyle Shanahan, obviously, there's been some big moments at the Falcons and in the Super Bowl where there's been his play calling's been in question. So I think this game's going to come down to a Kyle Shanahan special. And I'm hoping it's third time lucky. And I'm hoping whatever he dials up, brother, is going to work. And I'm hoping Jimmy G, there's no overthrow and it's absolutely dropped in the bucket. I'm hoping the 49ers sneak it. I'm talking with my heart. If Dallas and Mike McCarthy get it right, I think Dallas will win, but I hope the 49ers do. What's your thoughts?
You know, I like the take on the talking about the Cowboys having a hard time stopping that run game because, like you said, with Deebo having so many rushing touchdowns, Elijah Mitchell, great late round pick. I mean, he's that outside runner that the reason why Trey Sermon isn't on the field. He fits their system well. Trey Sermon did not, and I think they aren't going to have to put the game in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands. I think they are going to be able to run the hell out of him. Now, the only thing, I think they will get it done offensively. I don't think the Cowboys can stop them there. They'll come up with some very unique running plays like they always do, and they'll get it done with just that. But I don't think that the Niners defense is good, but I don't think they can stop Dallas's pass attack. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, that is an incredible trio. So this is another game I expect to be actually more high scoring and less, so much time is taken off from the Niners running the clock out. But I do give, yeah.
Sorry, is your dad there?
Yeah.
Yo, he must be proud as fuck for you, bro.
Oh, dude. I mean, we work together on everything, so it's pretty cool.
Honestly, again, I'm not gonna. Talk to me about your family life, bro. Forget football.
Yeah,
talk to me about your family life. Go.
So we're both me, my dad, my brother. We're all really big Raider fans, and I started the show. As far as a show with family, he randomly started helping me with the show because he's always pretty hands on, likes to do that kind of stuff. And we took a break because he didn't have a computer to actually do this show that would upload properly. Finally, we got him a new computer, and we just like working on things together. We each like football, we each like music, guitar, we each play a little guitar. So we've always done things like that, work together. You know, he's more like my best friend rather than my father. You know, so
man, you're gonna set me off.
What's his name?
It's
pretty awesome.
What's his name? What's his name?
Oh, his name's Donovan.
Shout out to Donovan. Donovan, you must be the coolest dad, and you got the coolest son. And the reason I said that is because your knowledge of football is crazy, bro. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking the production you've got going on, your show's really cool, you're really cool. Shout out to you and your family, man. Yo, you're going to be a star, brother. You're going to be a star, brother. Honestly, you are, man. You are. Your football,
I just love what I do, dude.
Is off the chain. And that honestly there, it sounds like your dad's your hero. And do you know how rare that is in modern times to have a young male look up to his father? Yo, I think that's amazing.
He sets up the show, too. I mean, I drive to his house.
Remember, Caleb, with my show, right, I'll keep it real with you. My show is a hardcore NFL show. Yeah, it is, but it's also a hardcore entertainment show. And I keep it fucking real awesome, man. I keep it real as fuck. So, listen, when I'm telling you I think you are dope, and when I'm telling you I think your dad's the man, I mean it. Because there's no reason for me to even bring it up. Does that make sense? You're halfway through a 49ers game, giving your take there, and I'm just like, yo, everything you say is there, bang on. 2022, or even if you're not doing anything tomorrow, you need to jump on my playoff game. You need to come on my show and come and do a live-by-live call with me. Simple.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Smash it, brother. You're going to smash it,
brother.
I
might cry if the Raiders lose, but...
Yeah, but yo, well, do you know what? Well, at least it'll go viral, and I'll just have to give you some stick for it then, do you know what I mean? But
worth it. Just label it "Man Cries in Utter Defeat."
In utter defeat, do you know what I mean? And we'll be fine. So, before I rudely interrupted you there, brother, if you have to pick a score on the 49ers game, what you saying? What do you reckon?
This one's going to be close. I think it'll come down to a field goal. I think I give the Cowboys the hedge by a field goal.
No, I have to say, probably, yeah, my head's like, yeah, because that game, again, is similar to what I think the Raiders-Bengals game, where it's going to be a game of keep-up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way right there, but I do think, you know, I could easily be wrong. That's like the hardest game for me to decide on. You know, I could go back and forth, but it's just, I think Dallas will pull together. Dak looked great last week, even though it was against backups, so...
Caleb, do you gamble? Do you bet? Do you bet parlay? Do you bet any bet builders?
I like underdog. I've done a couple over-unders. You know, when I was actually working in the mountains, that was the only thing I could really do for fun. I'd go up to, you know, we actually lived in like a casino hotel for a while. So I'd put the games on, you know, put my bets on Sunday, and that was kind of the only thing to do up there.
No, it's kind of cool when you have a bet on it, right? Because you sort of like you have an interest in games that you wouldn't really have an interest in. I think that was what got me into Red Zone, and it was that long ago. I don't know if you've seen it, man. When I hit my 150 to 1 shot, I'm not sure in America how they explain the odds. You know, I think that would be like a plus 150 basically. Is that right?
You hit one on your show?
I hit one. Yo, I hit one on my show. Go and check it out on my Twitter, bro.
I've checked out a couple of your episodes, but I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
No. It's because that's crazy, bro. Honestly, it's not. It's. I'll show you the Twitter picture later because I did tweet it and I was like, yo, I've just hit this 150. In England, it would be described as 150 to 1. So basically, I put like £2 on it and I won like 250 odd quid. And I was mortified. I never put $10 or $20 or $100 on it, man. I was like, you lying?
So, I had a chance at, you know, underdog tournaments, right?
Right.
They do like these best ball tournaments, and I had this stud team of like Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, just this incredible team. I got down to the very last round of the playoffs where you can win up to like, I think it was $200,000. And by the start of the game, I almost had no players from injuries and COVID playing.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was the worst. I'm like, COVID literally just ruined me.
Oh my days! Is that when you threw your phone out or your laptop over the mountain?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
It's still
So,
cracked.
It's interesting. I mean, to be honest, I was gonna, because I call it like the hashtag Ace Bet. So what I was gonna ask you to do is to put one together for the fans, but we're talking about it now. So I'll just wait until we've done a couple more games, if you don't mind. I'm gonna ask you to, pick these games properly. So make sure you're ready, because people might take your advice, and you never know. You might win big, bro. So you never know. So Steelers,
Help some
KC.
people win big.
Yeah, help some people. That's what I said to people. I was like, because I was doing a preview show and we was just talking about it, and I was like, listen, I said, just chuck a couple of pounds and literally a couple of dollars. I'm not encouraging people to gamble and like lose their money. I was just saying, to just chuck a couple of dollars.
Take out a mortgage, I'm sure of it.
Did you get me? Take out a mortgage, back it. And then it come in and I was like, I swear I should have said, take out a mortgage, back it. Honestly, yeah. I was devastated, Caleb, man, for real. I was, man. So, Steelers, KC, if I'm being honest, we'll talk schematically and matchups in a sec, but Big Ben, thoughts?
On Big Ben? Well, apparently he thinks his own team shouldn't be in the playoffs. I'm like, who says that right before you play a game? Like, at least give your team some confidence. This is their last year. Say you're going to go play your heart out. Don't just say, yeah, we'll see what happens, but we shouldn't be in the playoffs. We're the worst team. Right. What kind of leadership is that?
I think that's trying to keep it real too much, isn't it? Like, you can't say that to the media. You might say it to yourself, but saying it to the media is like a totally different ball game, brother.
Okay, so you're not keep some confidence.
So you're a bit like me. You're a bit new school. You're not really feeling Big Ben.
No, he's done. He's toast. He's not been playing good this year. Very low pass yards per attempt like last year. His arm is just not the same anymore. He can't scramble, which used to be his big thing. They're going to get slaughtered, and I mean, at least he admitted it.
No, at least you're right. At least he admitted it. So let's get into this thing, because I've got a few things to ask you. Obviously, you don't fancy the Steelers' chances in this. We both probably know that the Steelers' run game, ever dependent on Najee, because he's making miracles happen with that line, right? It's just started to get it together recently, but Najee's done incredibly well to get those yards over this season. What do you think?
I mean, Najee coming out, a little bit older of a prospect this year, but he had a lot of people compared him to Derrick Henry fairly, coming out of college. He's just a monster of a man, but he's a great at receiving back work too. I mean, Najee is a great running back. He'll probably do really great against the Chiefs, but even Baltimore last week kind of bottled him up. At one point he had like 14 yards rushing late in the third. So I do love him. I think he'll do good this game, but just not enough. I believe the only chance the Steelers have, if they can get Najee going, is there was some crazy stat I saw where if a team ran against Patrick Mahomes throughout his career more than 50% of the times, Mahomes was 3-13.
Now really?
Yeah. Yep.
That stopped me then, but he was going to bring me on to my next point, because obviously you love your fantasy. Obviously the NFL is a very stats-driven league. Talk to me about your opinion on stats and your usage of stats. Are you a fan on stats? Are you not? What's your thoughts on stats?
It depends on the stat. If you're getting a lot of air yards out, like for a wide receiver, I feel like, air yards is what could have been production. It's a good measurement for receivers, even if they're not doing well. You see the air yards they're getting, and you're like, okay, he can, I would take the over on him, let's say, next week on his yards. As long as you see the air yards there. Another one is, I always say that receptions receptions demand talent. So if you're getting a ton of receptions, it's because you're demanding that. You have that kind of talent. So definitely receptions is a big one for me too. Total yards for a running back, it can be swayed so differently. So I don't necessarily take that as a viable stat, a sticky stat.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Like, narratives can be used with certain stats to push whatever narrative you want, right?
100%.
100%. That's why I like to, when I call games, I feel it because I'm a fan at heart, and coming from a player background, I'm literally, that's why I'm always on the edge of my seat. Does that make sense? So when I like to call it the eye test. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of stats, and I know how important they are. But again, I was glad you sort of alluded to that because I always see all the time narrative around certain stats. Like I heard. Okay, let me just ask you right off the bat. Who's the rookie of the year this year?
Rookie of the year?
Yeah.
If it's not that Dallas Cowboys, I'm kind of spacing his name.
Micah Parsons, which is that who you was thinking of?
Yeah, that or I mean, personally, I just got to give it to Jamar.
Right? Okay, so why do you say Jamar Chase?
Because he's not getting like a ton of receptions or anything.
Right.
He's making it after the play. You know, there's a lot of plays where he's being a yak monster this year. He's making plays happen out of nothing. It's just get the ball into that guy's hands, and he's going to make Joe Burrow look a lot better.
Which he does, right? Like, you see Jamar Chase, literally, he reminds me like, he's like out the Fast and Furious. He's like, he's jogging, and then he presses the NOS tank, and he's gone. Don't you think so, Caleb? It looks like sometimes he's not even trying.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Hot Wheel, dude. He just kicks it into a gear, and you're like, what the hell?
What the... And this is my point I was getting to, because I was in an argument the other day with somebody on PFF in the chat about Creed Humphrey is graded the highest rookie this year. And I was like, he may be graded the highest rookie, but I don't give a fuck. I was like, everybody knows it's Jamar Chase. All you need is ice. No, but it's true though, right? And I was like, this is how stats can be used to push the bad narrative. I was like, I'm not disrespecting Creed Humphrey. He's had a great season. But I'm saying you can't tell me, because PFF have graded him the best performance rookie this season, my man is the rookie of the season. Or am I just on my own, Caleb? Am I tripping? You tell me.
No, I am 100% with you right there.
Yeah.
I mean, pushing that narrative to... I'm actually surprised Creed Humphrey was the highest rated.
Honestly,
he did do great,
you.
But I like to see that. I just like to see that extra something that no regular player can do. Almost like think about how Derrick Henry runs, right?
Right.
It's unhuman. And Jamar Chase, the beginning of the season was getting like 2 or 3 receptions for the first 3 games, but still getting like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was just, if he had the ball, he was doing everything he could with that. It was unprecedented, some of the things I've seen from him.
Okay, so there's your rookie of the year. You think it's either Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons, mate, which I think's a great shout. Who's your MVP, bro?
MVP, you know, I'm surprised that more people are on the Rodgers side to give him back-to-back. And as much as I hate to say it, I've got to give it to Brady.
Okay.
Overall,
carry on, bro.
MVP, like, what Brady has done at his age and throwing 50-plus touchdowns, I haven't seen something like that, you know, back-to-back, but Rodgers did do it with less weapons, so I give him that, you know? He's done it with less weapons.
Do you think, sorry bro to cut you there, do you think on this MVP award it's too early?
What do you mean?
Like, it's too early to judge? Like, do you think it's too early to judge? Like, when is the MVP award handed out?
Too soon. Yeah, like, you think the playoffs should be
considered
a factor?
Or... Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because coming late in the day, obviously Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow's performing the way he did at the back, like at the start of the season, then he'd be in the conversation, right?
Right. If he goes against the Raiders, throws another 500 yards and 4 touchdowns,
right,
freak, give
right?
that man his dues in the playoffs.
Right. So, do you think that I don't know, man. Sometimes I think, do we have a regular season MVP and then a player like what's your thoughts on that, bro?
I actually haven't had someone bring that up, but that's definitely a cool thought behind it. Because, if you're MVP, you probably have helped your team make it to the playoffs at least.
Right.
But, I mean, let's say you're a crazy defensive player and your team didn't make it to the playoffs, but you still had a crazy season. So I get why they end it there, but I definitely think it's a good question to at least let the players in the playoffs kind of get that chance to still prove themselves as the NFL MVP. I think I would like it better if they let it run through the playoffs. And if someone steps it up, then give it to them, if they were close in the contentions.
Right. Or it also works the other way. Obviously, you alluded to there, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers at the moment, they're hot right now. And they've been good this season. I agree. But what about if they have a stinker, man, in the playoffs, bro?
Kills it for you're NFL MVP, but you just you lost your team the first round.
You lost your team the championship game or something. I'm like,
yeah, I get that.
That's it's interesting, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. I like that.
It's interesting, right? So you're going with Tom Brady. This is going to be the first thing that we're going to disagree on because although I think he's had an amazing season and he's a very standout individual for all the reasons that you said, do you know, I think if Indy made it to the playoffs, Jonathan Taylor would have had a great shout, bro. How did they fuck that up, bro? What happened there?
Dude, not only did they... Jonathan Taylor was unreal. He was actually... I had him as my dynasty running back 2 years ago because I love this guy's talent. He was the first guy I've seen come out like Barkley. I was like, this guy is at least as good as Barkley. And, I am very high on that talent of Barkley. But Jonathan Taylor was a burner. I mean, all aspects of the field, and he showed it this year, dude. No one could stop him. If he just gave you 100 yards that game, it was a bad week for him.
Right. Right.
I mean, I love that pick of Jonathan Taylor. I cannot believe that they effed up their playoff chances. I would have loved to see them make a little run. Carson Wentz is probably gone after this year, so I would have liked to see him get a couple more games.
He fired himself, right?
What?
I think Carson Wentz sort of fired himself last game of the season. Like his performance was that bad, I think, and I was absolutely stunned, Caleb. I was doing Red Zone, obviously, and I was that tuned in. I didn't even realise it was a playing game. I thought Indy was home and dry, bruv.
Oh.
I did.
Yeah.
I honestly did, and I was absolutely stunned. Yeah, as I was doing it, I was like, "Oh my god, Indy are gonna get knocked out here." Because I think the biggest reason was I think Jacksonville players was that desperate to get out of that franchise. They just wanted to put something good on film.
Right? And they're like, "Look, I can do good."
Look, I can do good, and they end up outperforming the 99 Madden rating all of a sudden. And now we're just running around like ballers and we're just smashing Indy up and we just knock them out the playoffs, man. And I was like, I was stunned, bruv. I've got to keep it real. So, again, as I'm saying to you, it's, for me, the reason I say this is because if I was to vote now, I'd probably say Aaron Rodgers. Right? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know, man. Something tells me something's going to go wrong for one of these two guys. And I'm not even that type of person. I love the NFL. I don't wish the bad on no one. And I never talk down players, Caleb.
I'm sorry. I hope Brady loses this week.
There you go. So you hope Brady loses this week. And to be honest,
let's see Hurts get some love.
Let's get some love in it. Yeah, man. I totally agree with that. So last game, brother. Arizona versus the Rams, Monday night, right? If I'm being honest, I know what a game, but Arizona, for whatever reason, even when they was hot and they was undefeated early on in the season, people weren't really too convinced by them. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but it sort of feels this side of the pond, bro, that people weren't too hot about Arizona, even though Kyler Murray is an absolute guy. I mean, what a baller.
Not a lot of people think that. Pieces. A lot of people think he's overrated.
What the fuck?
Don't ask me, dude.
Don't ask me.
He's a perfect nowadays QB. You know, he's got...
You see the thing is, Caleb?
Yeah.
You see how me and you think of the game? We see the game the same way. But the problem is, the old school ain't ready for it, you see. That's the problem.
That really is.
It really is, man. And it's because, listen, you can't not love Peyton Manning and Drew Brees. And you can't not love them. I personally love them, I do. But I am a huge fan of the mobile QB. It's why I love Lamar Jackson. I think when he's on fire, he's so electrifying. I honestly do, bro. I honestly think if he's on fire, he's like the most unstoppable player in the league. I think all his passing business is overrated, but that's a different story. But anyway, going back to Kyler Murray, I totally agree. I think he's a real baller. Pulls them out the shit all the time, bro, as we like to say over here. Just nice and honestly, just simply said. Like, whether he's doing it on the rush himself, on design QB runs, whether he's scrambling, I think he goes through his progressions well. And we all know he can pull that special play out. Offensively, that offensive core that they've got is amazing. I know when they can get D up on the field and stuff, it's all about that. But I think Cliff Kingsbury and that offensive scheme, if they had a better offensive scheme, Arizona here would be a real handful. What do you think, bro?
I mean, you know, without D-Hop, like you were saying, it's going to be tough for them. But like you're saying, Kyler Murray is so electric out of the backfield that he can make plays happen. He can, you know, they can rush him, you know, blitz him, whatever. He can still get out of the pressure, and you got to still think about, is he going to run it? Is he going to throw it? Because he's so patient about that, too. It's not like he's just looking to go and, all right, I'm out of the pocket. I'm out of here. He'll break tackle, still look, wait for something to develop. And, you know, he really can extend a play. I love seeing that. I do think that he's going to, you know, pummel this Rams defense, even without Hopkins. But, man, can you stop Stafford? Is Stafford going to be the good Stafford that we saw at the beginning of the season? Or is he going to be three-pick Staffy? I mean, he's had his up and down games.
Yeah, man, I was just about to say to you, bro, Matt Stafford in the playoffs, his playoff record ain't good, so what are you thinking?
I mean, with the Lions, how can you do any good? But I still think I'd give it, gosh, this is a hard one, but I'm going to give it to the Rams. I want to see Kyler Murray get it done, but I'll give it to the Rams.
See, it's interesting because you know what we were saying about narratives and stats, as you just said there. Because Matt Stafford's got a terrible playoff record, all the narrative going into that game is going to be, he can't get it done in the playoffs. You know that, right?
Yeah, but it's different team. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I agree. I agree.
Those narratives, damn it, screw them.
Screw them. Fuck the narratives. So you've got the Rams in that one. So, Caleb, we're going to put together a little ice bet here, right? We're going to put together a little hashtag ice bet, right? Me and you. We're going to stick a little $5 on this each, right? Okay?
All right.
All right, then. So, quickly, I'm just going to see if I can get the spread up real quick. Let's have a look. Again, be patient, because I think this is going to be worth doing, Caleb, because I think, mate, you're going to win my fans a lot of money. So, all right, then. Caleb, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. Okay then. So over here, I've got the Raiders 5.5. The Raiders are getting 5.5. What do you think?
I'll take the Raiders.
You'll take the Raiders, yeah?
Yeah, they're not going to lose by 5.5.
Okay, Patriots getting 4.5 at the Bills.
Patriots are favored?
Oh yeah. Patriots are getting 4.5. Yeah.
I'll take the Bills if the. Really, the Patriots are favored?
Patriots have got 4.5. No, sorry, the Patriots are underdogs. My bad. Sorry, Patriots underdogs.
Okay,
4.5. My bad. Sorry.
That's a good one. I'm going to take the Bills. I'll take the Bills.
You take the Bills, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Bucks 8.5 favourites.
Only 6.5.
8.5.
Oh, 8. Still only. I'll take the Bucks.
Take the Bucks, yeah. So I've got Raiders, New England, Bucks. Okay. 49ers, Dallas. They've got the 49ers. They're giving them 3.
Wow, that's like right on the money.
What do you think? It's hard, isn't it?
The Niners are going to lose by 3.
What do you think?
Give me the Niners then. Give me the Niners if that's what it is. If they're favored to lose by 3. Yeah, because I think it'll be a close one.
I think it'll be a close one. And again, this is going exactly how you called it, isn't it, Caleb? Because you said that game by a field goal, and that's where they've got them.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Steelers Chiefs. I've got them on this. The betting app I'm using is Bet365. So Bet365 have got them at 13. The Steelers. They're giving Steelers 13 points. Do you think the Chiefs are going to cover?
Yeah, Chiefs will cover.
Chiefs cover, yeah.
Yep.
Last but not least, Arizona versus the Rams. Arizona are getting 4.
So Arizona will lose by more than 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. Give me Arizona.
Okay. I can't wait to put that together. I'm going to put
Dude,
that together.
that was my exact line, though, for 2 of those, because I had Arizona losing by 4, so that's crazy.
This is what I'm saying, Caleb. Listen, I need to get you on the show, man. You're an absolute genius. Even the spread. Listen, I didn't even know, as you can tell there, I mean, I love my spread betting. I'm looking through there, and you've got those games bang on, bruv.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't even look at those spreads, and apparently I'm right with Vegas on that.
So, you're right with Vegas. We've got to get him in Vegas. We've got to get him on the Ace Jordon Show. Listen, brother, in a minute backstage when we finish the show, we need to talk about that. But before we dip off, I want to say, Caleb, it's been an absolute pleasure. What an hour that was. That shot by, bro. What do you think?
Dude, that was an awesome show. It was awesome talking with you.
Right?
Heck yeah. Had some good talks.
Listen,
well
man,
done, dude.
Absolutely brilliant. Caleb, you smashed it out the park, bro. But I just want to say, just before we shoot off, listen, everybody. Caleb, I want you to give my fans one more shout out to where you are, bro. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at the League of Tomorrow FF, one word on YouTube. So the League of Tomorrow FF, and then on Twitter you can find me at Caleb LOTFF.
Absolutely brilliant. And for everybody that's live and locked in that stayed all the way, thank you very much. You've just automatically qualified for my jackpot, which is currently at $200, Caleb.
Woo!
Boom, let's go. Exactly. So shout out to all my like and subscribers out there. Make sure you're live and locked into the Ace Jordon Show with our wild card weekend special. Can't wait to get it done. Hopefully Caleb's going to join us. Let's see if we can get it started. But thank you everybody for watching. It's been an amazing show. Love this interview. Hope to see more of you soon, Caleb. Peace out.
Heck yeah, dude. Thanks for having me.
Peace out, bro. Thank you very much.